on.
Speaking of, I don't know about egging them on, but speaking of the law,
yeah,
we've spoken about the national, security strategy, but focusing again on the law. And speaking of ministers designate, George Murtala has been speaking now in recent times, lands and natural resources. And he has said that the burning of excavators, which your party, for example, has condemned in certain quarters. Some of you are in support of it, others are not. But the point has been made that
some of us.
Oh, I've heard some of you actually. NDC. I think the last time was it. There was someone here, a panelist, who was together with the member of parliament for Inshiaya, so Stephen, and I think he agreed. He consented to it, but. The point to be made is that, by and large, your party, the minority, has not been in favor of the burning of excavators. And you've cited the law to say that this is in breach of the law. George Murtala is now saying that, so it was Honorable Suini who actually came, and he was in support of it. But the point to be made is that now
George Murtala,
yes, the burning of excavators. Now George Murtala is saying we are going to fashion a law to ensure that we can burn the excavators. That is the position of government. Government is unrepentant, and we're going to follow through on that. And he ends by saying that extraordinary situations require extraordinary measures. Your take?
Well, I'll be very shocked if Honorable Suhino will stoop that low.
You'll be very shocked if Honorable Suini will stoop that low, simply by adopting the position that the excavator should be burnt. Isn't he entitled to his opinion?
No, Honorable Suini, I know him. He's my brother. And I know how principled he is. And I know he's one of the guys who would defend the constitutions and the laws of this country. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't listen to read. Maybe accept that.
I interacted with them, so I would
out of context. I'll be very, very surprised if he says so. You see, this statement made by my good friend Duka, by the way, he beat the guy at the Flagstaff House. Was it not Duka, my good friend? What's the name of the gentleman who was caught on tape? The gentleman who was caught on Anas's tape for taking bribe in the name.
You mean Bissu? Charles Bissu?
It was Duka who beat him mercilessly. What happened to that case? Or it was a matter of dog bite dog. The law doesn't work. It's the same thing. I mean, this statement my good friend Duka made, he'll be unhappy with me this morning. It's an admission that what this government is doing is a violation of the law. What he just said, the fact that he's advocating for some amendments, of the law to give government the license or the carte blanche to ban those excavators is an admission that this government has been engaged in an illegality. The shocking aspect of it is that when you have a minister for defense who encourage a breach or breaching of the laws of this country, and the president, who should be the first person to be defending the laws of this country, came out and said, I support the violations of those laws. If you have any problem, go to court. I was shocked that the Ghana Bar Association didn't say anything about it. But you see, are you surprised? Even in this country, you have a person who was being prosecuted by a court of competent, in fact, who was being tried by a court of competent jurisdiction. President Nanado truncated the court proceedings and took the woman out of this country. And I'm making reference to Aisha 1. Yet the Ghana Bar Association, the Judicial Council, the Chief Justice didn't see anything wrong with that. He didn't consider that to be an attack on the judiciary, that you have a precedent who someone is being tried by a court of competent jurisdiction. Aisha 1, the president, abruptly truncated the court proceedings and took the woman out of this.
You feel the mere fact that that was done, the mere fact that the judiciary did not respond as it is responding now, it implies that they were indifferent, they totally did not care about
deliberately, it. Why? They can't tell us they didn't hear. That was an attack of the judiciary. And there has never been any attack on the judiciary under the Fourth Republic than we experienced in that circumstance. That a court of competent jurisdiction, mind you, either a high court or circuit court, whoever judge is sitting on the case, is sitting on the case for and on behalf of the Chief Justice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That the president decides that because of some money we are getting from China, the senior minister, stopped the proceedings and took the...
Those were not reasons cited.
Oh, when they went to America.
No, but I'm just saying that those were not reasons cited. The way you are putting them, it's as though it was acted in that light.
No, they were.
It is not exactly what
they
you're
were.
saying.
When the president traveled to America, I think in Denver, with the senior minister, and they asked the president why Ashawan was taken out of this country. The senior minister explained, hold on. The senior minister's explanation was that, what are we going to gain from prosecuting? We are getting some money, about 3 billion from China. The president didn't tell the senior minister on that platform that was not the reason. So why would you sit here and tell me that those were not the reasons? There can't be any explanation. The only explanation we got from the senior minister and at a forum that the president was present was this. So that was the reason. My point is that this was an attack on the judiciary. You people didn't say anything. The Chief Justice didn't see the need. The so-called, protectors and pace setters of the Ghanaian democracy, rule of law, nobody said anything. Now, what I'm simply saying is that all those things that happened, why wouldn't the president feel very free to once again ask the minister, direct the minister for defense, to ask the security agencies to violate the laws of this country? Now, the president says that if you are uncomfortable with it, go to court. Is that like you telling people, go out and rob? Come to multimedia, armed robbers, rob multimedia. If multimedia is unhappy with it, they can go to court. I mean, that for me was the lowest, of our political and democratic growth as a people. The first person, the most important person in the protection and the defense of the constitution of this country should be the president. The president encouraged that. So what Duka, my good friend, is saying is an admission that what they did was wrong, because if he considered that not to be wrong, he wouldn't be advocating for an amendment of the existing laws. Now, if he's saying that amend those laws and ensure that we ban those excavators. Now,
you find that to be an admission that what they've been doing thus far is not even...
Is there any other explanation than an admission that what they did was wrong? Tell me.
But in matters of national interest, I mean, this is a bit of a stretch. In Nigeria, you know of the Twitter ban, and they've extended it to say, well, it's a matter of national interest. We feel some things are not going well, that the platform is being used for different things. That is a Nigerian situation. But I'm saying that in matters of national interest, as you are aware, under certain circumstances, like we've seen with COVID, certain things can be done even, I wouldn't say retrospectively, but in anticipation of certain laws to be brought to bear. Is that not the case? That is the case.
In matters of national interest, there have been a lot of armed robbery in this country. So anytime you get a suspected armed robber, kill him. Is that the logic? In matters of...
Isn't that a bit of a stretch?
Oh, this one is not a bit of a stretch. This one, you have existing laws. Those laws says that when you confiscate, mind you, by the time they enacted the laws, I think in 2005, Mr. Nanado was in Parliament. The current president was in Parliament. He participated in enacting those laws. And he's a lawyer of long years of standing. And I believe that his input would have been factored into. And mind you, when he was in Parliament...
Just briefly, we also know that the law is meant to be progressive, that the law isn't meant to be static, just as the Constitution is not meant to be static. And so we know that all of these should reflect the needs, the aspirations of the people at a particular time. You're aware of that?
What has logic gone this morning? You are telling me the laws are supposed to be progressive. They are not supposed to be static. Absolutely agreed. But when society progresses and the laws that you have, that you don't want them to be static, you do what? You amend them. Have we amended those?
Which is what Duka is proposing.
So you took an action, violated those laws. And that's why I said it's an admission that what they did was wrong. It's an admission that both the president and the minister for defense and the military violated the laws of the land.
Are you in support of what Duka is saying now?
I am absolutely against it. Look, those who enacted the laws, and by the way, the current president participated in it because he was in Parliament at the time. Now, those who enacted the laws were conscious of the effect. The law says, when you see such, one, those you arrested with the equipment, prosecute them. When you prosecute them and it is established that they were engaged in wrongful acts, what happens? You jail or you fine? And that when you seize them, hand them to the police. Now, after the determination of the case, and those people are convicted or found guilty, you release the equipment to the appropriate ministry or agency. Now, clearly stated in the act. Now, the president instructed the minister for defense, you people can go to town, violate those laws. The president comes out, instead of him saying that, oh, I will look into it, I am not in support of it, the president says, I support it. If you are not happy, go to court. I mean, are we in a banana republic? There is no any other explanation to what my good friend Duka said when he appeared before the appointment committee, but an admission that yes, we have been engaged in violations of the law. And that's why I tied it with what happened to Asha 1, that there was a clear violation of the laws of this country, disrespect to the judiciary system and the court proceedings in this country. The Chief Justice and the judiciary didn't see anything wrong with that. It was Nanado, so he can carry on. The Ghana Bar Association, which by the way issued a statement when the MPP won elections in 2000, that henceforth they were no longer going to engage in political discussions. But when the NDC came back to power, they reversed the decision. I mean, how honest and how independent and how fair are this group of people? Now, when those things happened, that was the beginning of an attack on the judiciary of this country. Nothing was seen. Nobody saw anything wrong with that. Why wouldn't they engage in this? So I'm saying that it is extremely worrying. And I am totally against the destruction. Now, you see, you know why? They destroy, but they don't prosecute those who are engaged in it. And what is the guarantee that destroying those equipments alone would stop them from engaging in those acts? That is why the framers of, in fact, those who enacted those acts, says that deal, prosecute them. How many of the people have been prosecuted? How many? They don't prosecute them. They seize the equipment. They ban the equipment.
So you think this new bit about creating a law that allows for the burning of the excavators is neither here nor there? It wouldn't solve any problem.
It's absolutely balderdash. Okay. And let me make this point. The reason government gave for the destruction of the excavators, one of the reasons, at least, let me be very fair, which resonated in almost all government communicators, was that when they seized them, the people find a way of getting those equipments again. Was that not what they told us? That is an irresponsible position.
Okay.
Now, whose duty is it that when you seize them, the people from whom you seize those equipments don't get them again? Whose duty? Is it not the government?
It is. And that argument has been made. But something else that George Meku Duka told the appointments committee was that, as far as he was concerned, you know, the question has also been raised about some of the resources, apart from excavators. When you go to some of these illegal mining sites, those who are polluting our water bodies and the rest, do you not find any gold resources and the rest? That question was raised, and he said that as far as he was concerned, there was no such cache of whatever that had been taken in addition to any excavators. Your minority leader, you know, Haruna Idrisu, has been taking on that issue. What do you feel in that respect? Is there something that is being hidden? Do you feel there is something nefarious happening in this operation, even as we tackle Galamsey?
Kennedy Japan sat on national television and made an emphatic statement that the military, the task force, seized several kilos of gold, ounces of gold. It was Kennedy Japan. The video, I believe that you have seen the video. And this statement was not coming from anybody than a leading member of this MPP and this government, and in fact a member of parliament. Where is the gold? And you know what he said? He said that the president, and if you watch the video, he was speaking directly to the president, that the president should ask them the whereabouts of the gold. Not only he. You have another NPP communicator. Is it Abronya something?
Abronya DC.
Abronya DC, who also sat on national television and retreated same. So I'm saying that, I mean, it's clear that this is the most dishonest government ever in our history. But you see, it is not just about seizing those things and stopping them. Now, who calls them? Charles Bissiou is still at the Flagstaff House, isn't it? We were in this country when my senior sister, Ajia Alima Mahama, and Ketsi Joy TV, I watch it on your program. I don't think that you guys can deny that that didn't happen. When he met the MMDCs and said that we know those of you who are engaged in Galamsey will come after you. Why didn't you guys follow up to find out those who are engaged in the Galamsey? As we see today, You have the MPP Ashanti Regional Chairman who sat on national television and put bars of gold, and said that apart from the Asante Hine, nobody has gold than him in Asante. Nothing happens. So it is business as usual. It is business as usual. So I was flabbergasted, honestly, to hear my good friend claimed that they didn't find anything. Why haven't they asked Canada, Japan? Aren't they interested in finding out which of the military men were holding the gold? Why aren't they interested in that? Your own Erasmus, is it Erasmus? Asare Donko at Love FM. Was he not beaten when he was doing an investigative journalism? If the president wants to know, members of the MPP who are engaged in it, I think that they should have 30 minutes discussion with
So that was Erasmus Asare.